Dawn Smith Jordan. Nancy Humphries. And Anagram Reynolds. 4 young women who share a common experience, being Miss South Carolina and trying for the crown of Miss America. Tell me about your experience as a Miss America pageant, what you remember about it, and, you know, the highlights.
It was everything that I expected it to be. Most of the girls, well, all of the girls were extremely friendly. I expected there to be more cutthroat competition, but actually they were very, very nice girls and seemed to respect each other for having made it that far. And it was just very thrilling to come home and represent South Carolina from there.
Well, you all have represented South Carolina so well. Was it very grueling, the pageant? You were up there for a whole week?
It was 4 years ago for me, but I can remember 4 years ago that it was very grueling. I was very tired when I got home. But the most important thing is you have so much energy that you don't really feel it until you do come home. Hopefully you won't come home, but you feel it afterwards.
Anybody who clogs like you do has got to have a lot of energy. But I guess we should tell everybody you're 7.5 months pregnant.
That's right.
So there won't be more clogging for a while.
No, not for a while.
That's great. Dawn, tell us what you remember most about the pageant.
I remember being on the side of the stage right before Saturday night, and I remember standing there, and for a split second it hit me, you were actually at the Miss America pageant. You know, I felt the whole time like I should be at home. Like I watching. You know, every year it was a tradition. You watched the Miss America pageant, and then all of a sudden I was there, and so for me it was almost an overwhelming thing.
Anagram, it's freshest in your mind.
Oh, yes, but I swear I was so hungry the whole time I was there. I remember eating potato chips the whole time. I probably ate a bag of potato chips the whole time. Food always is on my mind. So that's the one thing that I remember the most.
But you all did well at the pageant. You represented us well. Some of you made the top 10, the top 5. Some of you almost won. Were you disappointed that you didn't win or get further than you did?
Of course.
Yeah. You wanted to win.
From somebody who came the very closest.
Yeah. I understand, Sherry, you actually tied, they told you later, in point. It was like a decimal point or something.
They told me, I guess seeing is believing, and obviously everything happened for a reason, but I wanted to win Miss America. I wanted to go around the country and let people see what a girl from South Carolina could do, and I wanted to represent the state, and South Carolina has only had one Miss America, and so that was always a dream of mine.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't, once you go, you can't go back, I guess,
That's
unless you
right.
move to another state, and then you would represent
around,
South Carolina.
I always say, well, can you go back? And it's a one-time thing, and that's the electricity that's there and the pressure that's there. You know that it's your one and only chance.
Mm-hmm. Did you cry after?
I sure did.
How about you, Nancy?
Yeah, I actually did. I was very fortunate to have been a preliminary winner, which they have preliminary competitions each night. So that kind of brought up the expectations, and the hoping was there, and to not have been successful in the event. You know, well, I mean, I was very thrilled to have been there and considered it being successful to have made it there, and but to have been a swimsuit winner and then to not make the top 10 or to not become Miss America, it's disappointing after all that hard work. But again, the thrill of being Miss South Carolina was there.
Well, Dawn, I have to ask you, you came very close too, and just you all, as they did a wonderful job.
Well, I remember the night of the pageant at the ball, you know, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I think it's because you're so exhausted, and you've built up to this one night, you know, and I knew, like Sherry said, it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. But yet, as I came home, I cried, you know, on the way home on the plane, I have to admit, but I'm a big baby anyway. So I got back home, and as I started to see what unfolded for my year as Miss South Carolina, I really saw that I believed that was really God's plan for me, that I didn't need to be Miss America for what he had for me. And I really believe that had a lot to do with what I'm doing now, just because that wasn't what was for me, although I wanted it terribly. You know, I wanted to win. I didn't go there to be a runner-up, but I think that it turned out for the best.
And Anagram, we was robbed. You should have gotten in there. We were all disappointed when you didn't.
No, y'all was hilarious. I have no regrets. I'm totally different from these three. The night, we all had the same chaperone in Atlantic City, and her name was Rita Allison. And that night when Rita and I went to bed, well, see, after the pageant's over, it gets over so late. Well, I wanted to go around and see all my buddies because we had tons of people up there. And I just wanted to make sure everybody else was having a good time. And I had been locked up working. I wanted to go have a good time, so I went out and had a good time.
So we got in kind of late, and as we were going to bed, right before I nodded off, I said, Rita, I'm probably the first Miss South Carolina you've had up here who's going to bed with a smile on her face.
For some time, beauty pageants have been a source of controversy. Some people think they're degrading to women. The swimsuit competition just adds fuel to that fire. This year, the Miss Texas pageant has declared that high heels will not be worn with swimsuits because it's not ladylike. The contestants will go barefoot. How do y'all feel about the swimsuit competition? Is that really necessary to represent Miss South Carolina or Miss America? What does it matter if you have great thighs?
Who wants to take that?
You're all going to get a chance.
I think a lot of the importance lies in the fact that it is a tradition, that Miss America started off as a beauty pageant. But I think that a lot of it is the tradition, but I didn't feel like I was parading around because it was my choice to be there. You know, I think that it is a young woman's choice whether or not she is going to compete or not. Mm-hmm. And I really saw the importance just in the fact that to be Miss America, to be Miss South Carolina, to be Miss Greenwood, whatever, it is a tremendous job. You've got to be able to take care of yourself in order to handle the responsibilities, because I made over 300 appearances in 1 year as Miss South Carolina. I had to be fit to handle that, you know. And so, to me, I thought that was very important. A lot of people would disagree with that.
I think it's a confidence builder. I mean, I think knowing that I had to get up in front of tons of people, hundreds, thousands of people in a swimsuit was a confidence builder for me. If I could do that, I could handle the job of Miss America. And like Don said, it's a discipline. It's something that you have to work for. You have to be in shape. A lot of people talk about physical fitness being mental preparation, and it prepares you mentally. In a lot of ways, it gives you discipline, and by being prepared in swimsuit and walking on that stage in front of all those people, I think you can handle about anything.
Just about anything, I would think, yes.
Mm-hmm. I think so, too. I agree with Dawn in that it is much part of the tradition. That's what the Miss America started out as pageant, just a swimsuit pageant. But also, I think it is important because they want, when you see someone as a Miss South Carolina, as a local title, as Miss America, it is important for her to be physically fit because she is a representative, and it shows that she's concerned about the way she appears. And I think that's what the swimsuit is, not necessarily to see how good of a bod you have, but just to see if the girl is in shape.
Well, I'm going to take the different approach here.
Somehow I knew you would.
Yeah, you knew I would. You touched on the feminist movement there for a second. Well, the key issue is here, the pageants aren't for everybody. And if you don't want to get on stage and compete and wear a swimsuit, don't do it. We chose to do it, so, I mean, that's just basically the bottom line. They're not for everybody. And those who choose to criticize, it's really sad that they take that platform when they could take a platform standing for something very positive. When we are taking our platform, we feel like this is very positive. We're not doing anything negative.
What do you think about the high heel business that's come up?
Hey, I think high heels make your legs look great.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's what brings your legs out.
Aren't you glad
But it could be easier. I couldn't imagine getting up there in flats.
But don't let these young women fool you. Being Miss South Carolina is a full-time job, a job that takes years of preparation and talent, and a job that prepares them for the future. How do you feel that being Miss South Carolina changed your life? What did it do for you?
I'm still at Clemson University. I took the year off to represent South Carolina because you are traveling. You have tons of appearances, as Dawn mentioned, so it's impossible to be in school. So being in school and focusing on marketing, which is my major, I've met tons of people, you know, and the job offers, some I've mentioned, haven't had that experience. I think they realize that you can better handle a world that you've already been out in a job-type position.
What are you doing at Clemson?
I'm studying marketing.
Okay, yeah.
Graduating in May.
All right. What do you want to do with that?
Well, go into marketing, or I've even thought of some kind of broadcasting. Maybe you can give me some suggestions.
Okay. You can't have my job. Not yet, not yet. Okay, well, come sing.
Okay.
Dawn, you've been singing.
Yes, I've been singing during my reign as Miss South Carolina. I sang about 90% in churches, which is really what I wanted to do. And so from that, just calls have continued. The Billy Graham Crusade was the year in South Carolina, which was a great opportunity. And so just from that, God's really just continued to open up doors for me as far as a career as a contemporary Christian singer.
so I really am thankful for that, because I think that I had kind of a foot in the door because of being Miss South Carolina, that a lot of that was just given to me. So I'm really thankful for that.
Did you feel, when you were in the Miss South Carolina pageant, when did you know you were going to win it, or did you until they put the crown on your head?
Well, you don't actually know until they say it, but I had a personal feeling inside that just a real peace that I had done my best and that this was in the cards for me. And so when they called my name out, of course there was the initial shock or surprise, just by knowing for sure. But I just had a real peace and confidence the whole time. Not that I didn't have great competitors, because I did, but you just got to have that belief in yourself, and I never really let myself get sidetracked to think I might not win.
Were you surprised?
I don't know if you know about the pageants, how you go through preliminaries, but each night you have a swimsuit and a talent winner. And 3 of us had done double preliminaries during the week, so there were 3 of us that were double preliminary winners there. So, I mean, I was really sweating it there. But the final night came down to it, and one of them got called out, and then another one got called out, and I was just sitting there going, oh, no, please let this be what I think it means. And it did, but all of the girls were super, and they could have been a wonderful Miss South Carolina.
What was in your mind?
Well, I remember standing there, and I had this fear of being second runner-up, which I ended up being in the Miss America pageant. But we had this joke in my family that every pageant I was ever in, I'd never win. I'd always be second runner-up. I'd been in the Miss Teen pageant and the Junior Miss program. And both of those, I was second runner-up. So I was standing there just going, no, just get past the second runner-up. So I was thrilled, you know, and still, they called out first runner-up, and I was still thinking, who can it be? You know, is it going to be me? Who is it going to be? And so I think it's kind of a scary feeling, because it could either be you or you would, and then if that happened, I'd take second runner-up. You know?
Believe it, let it be. Yeah.
Did you know you were going to win?
No, as Sherry said, I don't think you ever know until they call your name, but I had confidence. I mean, I'm not going to say that I didn't. Like I said, it's the hardest thing I've ever worked for. I had confidence. See, I'm a great loser. If I had lost, I mean, I had done my best, and that's all I could do. But I won, so I was like, yeah, we won, and we're going from there.